All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. Welcome back to All Boxing Everything. Make sure y'all subscribe, and subscribe over to my other YouTube channel, Combo Breaker 99, where I discuss, women's boxing and other combat sports related stuff. But over here, y'all know I focus strictly on boxing. So, yeah, definitely subscribe if you're a hardcore boxing fan. But, yeah, I'm back, man. I just wanted to do a quick little weekend post-fight video here on probably the biggest fight Saturday night. And it's definitely going to go down as fight of the year for women's boxing. It might go down for fight of the year for everybody. We don't know. But I'm talking about Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. First off, I have to say shout out to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano for, really putting everything on the line, acknowledging each other, accepting the fight, going at it and making history. These two fighters, they went to Madison Square Garden, they faced off, and they threw down. They threw down like they both really wanted it. Granted, the decision didn't go the way I thought it should have went. But Katie Taylor, she pulled out the split decision over Amanda Serrano. But, yeah, I got to say shout out to both of them. After looking at the fight again, I got to respect how they both approached the fight. Yeah, I thought Amanda Serrano won the fight. Y'all can hear it, my other video, my little breakdown video round by round on my other channel. But, yeah, I just wanted to say that, Katie, she did put it all on the line. Granted, she didn't have the moments that I think a lot of people thought she was going to have, because Amanda Serrano is, like I said, she is that accurate, precise puncher with a lot of pressure that was going to give her fits, a fighter that Katie Taylor's never really seen before. But I think Katie Taylor, she definitely showed some resilience. She stayed in there, never stopped throwing all the way to round 10. I mean, there was a couple rounds where she was in trouble, but even in round 10, she came back with a flurry to really try to say, hey, let me make sure I can at least secure this on the judges side, right? Even if I can't stop her, I'm going to go in there and, at least win over the judges. And that's one of the things I always say in the fight game, even in MMA. You have to have a style, or, you have to have a plan B about you, where you can at least, if you can't just straight up beat up or dominate your opponent, you have to pizzazz the judges, and that's what Katie Taylor did when it came down to it. I mean, first half of the fight, it was looking like Katie Taylor's type of fight, like first couple rounds maybe. Like first round, I did give to Katie Taylor. The second round was kind of a close round. It could have went either way. I did lean more towards Amanda Serrano just because she was the sharper puncher and she was really touching that body and landing some good jabs, But from round 3 on, I'd say round 3 up to like 7, it was like, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I thought that Amanda Serrano was just really giving her all she could handle and making her fight off the back foot. And that's the time when I kind of look at certain situations, like when a fighter chooses to fight off the back foot, or if they're forced to fight off the back foot because their opponent is showing ring generalship. They're making them move in the directions they want them to move so they can land those punches and they can get off at a good range where they want to be, right? And I thought Amanda Serrano did a lot of that well, and, like the mid part of the mid rounds of the fight. But, yeah, man, round 5, oh, man, that was like one crazy round there. I thought that Amanda Serrano was about to be the first to stop her. And when that round took place, in my mind, it was like I said, like everything played out like I thought, because of the style of Katie Taylor. I said Katie Taylor may look flashy to a lot of people, but Katie Taylor gets hit a lot. Katie Taylor gets hit a lot, and her body is wide open. Like, the way she keeps her hands down, the chin is there to be hit. The torso, the ribs are not protected. So Amanda Serrano was having some nice moments with the body shots. She was straight up in that rib shack. I mean, she was tearing her body up, in that mid part of the fight, 5, 6, 7. She was landing some very good body shots, faking, with the right hand upstairs and then, slamming that left hand into her body. And I think that's where Katie Taylor really started to gas out. Like, Katie, she throws those fast flurries. She doesn't really put a lot of pop behind it, but, she's doing a lot. She's moving her feet. Then she's in there holding and clenching. So a lot of that holding and clenching really wears her down. She's not really an inside fighter. So when she went in there and faced a dog like Serrano, Serrano was really giving it to her. Now in the later half of the fight, there was a little bit more moments where I think Serrano, she could have done more. I think there was a couple rounds where I saw her kind of winging shots, from a distance, like she was getting a little bit impatient, So I think that Serrano should have stayed more consistent overall. Like, I think she should have stalked more and really placed her hooks more, started placing punches carefully. You know what I mean? Like, when you start to really get to a fighter's body and you start to break them down, that's not the time to get wild or, a little reckless to start to lose your win. That's the time to get on the inside and work. Especially when you get to those championship rounds. Yeah, I know. Look, she's a 7-time, 7 division world champion, but she was in there with one of the best fighters in Katie Taylor. And for those moments, off of what I was watching, I would say Katie Taylor, she was starting to land those flurries and come back in like, what was it, 8 and 9, So I think in those moments, Amanda Serrano kind of took her foot off the gas, still landing the hard shots when she could get in close, but she needed to stalk more like Golovkin or somebody. She really needed to start to cut off that ring, start slamming the jab in the face. And I want to talk about the jab in this fight. Like, I really want to talk about the jab. Like, fight of the night, doesn't have a lot of jabs. But I'll come back to that. But yeah, 8 and 9 I gave to Katie Taylor because I thought that she was still landing a lot of flurries there and just touching Amanda Serrano. And Amanda Serrano was reaching with a lot of shots. 10, it was kind of back and forth. I think I had to give 10 to Amanda Serrano because I think even in the back and forth, Katie was landing shots on the chin of Serrano. But when Serrano would land, she would do damage. She was hurting. She was landing the better shots. And again, it looked like she was about out on her feet. So Katie Taylor looked like she was more in trouble in this fight in like 5, 6, and 10, So I thought Amanda Serrano, she did enough to win the fight. I could have had it 7 rounds to 3 if I gave her round 2, but I had it 6 rounds to 4 for sure for Serrano. I know some people say it was a clear win or definite win for Katie. No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. Because if it was, we wouldn't be so torn on this one. I think the one thing everybody can agree on, can't agree on a winner, but everybody can agree on this was a very good fight. This is a very good fight, and it's much like Zhang Weili and Joanna in the world of WMMA. For y'all boxing fans, that's that's a classic fight in WMMA. Y'all go check it out. Y'all go to my other channel and hear me talk about it. But it's the same thing with that fight, Zhang Weili and Joanna. There was a lot of back and forth. It was a split decision for Zhang Weili. Some people think Weili won. Some people think Joanna won. But the one thing everybody can agree on is that the fans won. And I think the fans definitely won with this one. I think Amanda Serrano put on a very good performance. She showed me what I knew she had in there. Definitely the better puncher, throws the better punches, very good body puncher. Katie Taylor, she knows how to win. Katie Taylor, she has fast hands, decent footwork. There's still a lot of things that she needs to work on, I think, because if not, I could see Serrano winning in a rematch. Speaking of that, a rematch, yeah, I would definitely love to see a rematch. I want to see a rematch to this fight. If not, ASAP, maybe, we could probably, maybe not this summer, maybe like one more time to close out the year, just to kind of give them time to get ready and study and so on, and maybe make it a different fight this time. And I love the fight, the way it turned out to be. It was like one of those lightning in the bottle situations, but I really don't want to see the fighter come back and do the same thing again. I'm not that type of bloodthirsty fan. I want to see these two break down the science a little bit more and be a little bit more cautious. And going back to that, the jab. I was looking at the CompuBox numbers on the jabs, and neither fighter threw very many jabs. And I think, that is kind of what makes a fight of the night. Whenever you see fighters just hooking and throwing power shots, that really shows you that they were really going at it. When you looked at them numbers, I was like, wow. Yeah, I could really tell that they were going at it because there was no jabs thrown in this fight. They were all just setting it up off right hands and closing in with hooks. But the question is, or I don't even think this is a question. This is pretty much a statement. I think for me, this is my observation, but I think whoever would have committed to a good jab in this fight probably would have won. And I think that's maybe something that corner should have been saying. Hey, you need to. I heard Amanda Serrano's corner saying go to the body, and that was great advice, to go to that body. But I didn't really hear anybody just say you need to start slamming that jab in the face, especially for like Katie Taylor with her hands down. Katie Taylor, have Serrano coming at her. Somebody should have established a good jab. I think whoever would have established a good jab in this fight probably could have won it a little bit more clearly, and would have avoided the punishment. But hey, the fans won it when it all came down to it, right? So yeah, man. Final thoughts: Taylor Serrano, classic fight for women's boxing. Also, shout out to Sean Cruz. She became the first undisputed woman at super middleweight. She was able to unify the titles as well. So it's getting big for women's boxing right now, guys. Next up, we're gonna have Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, hopefully this summer. So it's about to be a real hot summer, y'all. But let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Do y'all want to see a rematch ASAP? Who did you have winning, Katie or Amanda? Guys, make sure y'all subscribe. All Boxing Everything. Subscribe to my other channel, Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.